The spat continues between President Trump and some members of the squad after Israel banned Reps Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib from entering the country over their support of a boycott movement. President Trump publicly blasting those radical Dems and supporting the ban.
Well, I'm only involved from the standpoint of they are very anti-Jewish and they're very anti-Israel. I think it's disgraceful, the things they've said. You have lists of, this isn't just a one-line mistake. What they've said about Israel and Jewish people is a horrible thing, and they've become the face of the Democrat Party.
Israel did reverse course after Congressman Tlaib asked to visit her family there on humanitarian grounds. Tlaib then rejected the offer, claiming Israel is trying to silence her and is treating her like a criminal. I find her decision personally deplorable, and also I don't understand it as a granddaughter, too. I would give anything to spend 1 minute with all of my deceased grandparents. I don't know why there's some type of stance that she would take now when
because it's a stunt.
It is, because she hasn't said anything about the Uyghurs in the China concentration camps. She hasn't said anything about Myanmar and the Rohingyas. So if she's so concerned about the oppression of Muslims around the world, and if she's so concerned about us trying to silence her, yet how is it that she's using the position of a congressman here and she can legislate, which seems to be a louder position than any of us have?
She wrote a letter saying she dearly needed to see her very old grandmother, and Israel approved. And then she said, you know what? I'm not going to do it. So she used her elderly grandmother as a prop for a stunt. And let's not forget that the trip that she was planning on going was put together or planned with an anti-Semitic group. So common sense is if someone's going to your house specifically to vandalize it or destroy it, you shouldn't have them there. And then she used her grandmother as a Trojan horse to get in. It's just disgusting.
I'll tell you what's disgusting is President Trump. President Trump going to a foreign country and saying that a member of our Congress, the American Congress, duly elected, can't travel to your country, and our president is working against the U.S. government? That's outrageous.
I don't think it happened the way you said that.
It happened exactly. He's on there pressuring Netanyahu, making a political deal, drawing in politics because he wants to make these four somehow the face of the Democratic Party. When in fact, the Democratic Party, the House majority, clearly voted against all this boycott and divestment issues in Israel. The Democrats are strong supporters of Israel. Most Jewish people vote Democratic. Not only that, you have several leading Republicans saying this was a mistake, Mr. President. The reaction has been so severe.
So she didn't use her grandmother?
From so many corners, and you guys somehow want to make. Let me tell you, she's posturing.
Yes.
I would agree. But this is in reaction to the fact that President Trump was acting in such an obnoxious and rude and political manner.
The obnoxious is all the squad.
You know what this reminds me of when Pelosi tried to fly overseas during the shutdown for some sightseeing?
Another petty act.
Trump said, you're going to ground your plane and time to renegotiate this deal. This is what happened. He pulled the rug out from under her because they weren't going on a fact-finding mission, a diplomatic mission. They were going to cause trouble. And Bibi said, I'll save us all the trouble, and goodbye. And you're right. The group that sponsored them is almost a hate group, if you look at research, what they're all about. Yes, Juan, and that hasn't been reported. But notice who didn't go on the trip. AOC. I wonder why. Because Nancy, when she had the one-on-one with AOC after that whole kerfuffle, she probably said, you know, you're a real rising star, smart woman. You need to separate yourself from the rest of those people because they're not doing you any good.
Oh, my gosh.
Dana.
Okay, so support for Israel used to be a bipartisan thing, right? And just 2 weeks ago, or within the last week, I think 51 members of Congress, Republicans and Democrats, went together with AIPAC, and they went all together. These two decided not to go with them. They could have gone on that trip and decided not to. So this was a separate thing meant to separate. And now, so there's the Trump part, and people can look at the Trump part and they can argue about it. But again, what happened with President Trump is he's not afraid about the blowback. He doesn't care, right? He's like, I don't care. He's like, but now what is happening? We're actually talking about the specific issue, about the position that they take on Israel, on the BDS movement, on that. And so he doesn't, like, going after President Trump on this is futile. If you're the Democrats, you're going to have to start answering, do you agree with them? Do you agree with them? Do you agree with them? And they're all going to be asked every single time. And I still cannot think of a single day since January 1st when the Democrats have actually been on offense on a single media news cycle, going into an election year with a president that's at about 43% approval rating, and they still can't do it. That's stunning.